Welcome to the Corporate to Coach podcast. I'm Pamela, a former corporate professional turned certified life and business coach and mentor. If you're ready to sign clients, grow your soul-led coaching business, and shed the employee identity so you can step fully into business ownership, you're in the right place. Let's begin. Hello, welcome back to the podcast. So today's episode is the one identity shift to sign more clients. The one identity shift to sign more clients. Oh, this is a juicy one. This is for the coach who is ready to sign their next paid client. This is for the coach who is done second guessing themselves and feeling like they have no idea where their next client is coming from. This is for the coach who doesn't enjoy marketing and selling, doesn't enjoy visibility, worries about what people will think about their pricing, worries about being icky when it comes to selling and feels gross when they think about showing up and selling and talking about their offers, who worries about what the consult process is going to be like and if somebody's going to like them or want to work with them on the consult call. This is for any coach who isn't 100% confident right now that they know exactly how to sign their next client or where their next client is coming from. So, the identity shift is this. So many coaches come and work with me, and when they start working with me, they say to me, they have worked so hard on their marketing, and I can see that. I can see that they're showing up. I can see that they're putting in the reps, that they've put thought into what offers they want to work on. In fact, most of my clients are sick and tired of going in circles about what their offer is, what their niche is, what their title is, who they even serve, who they work for. And so many of my clients who are beginning to work with me or not yet working with me, just coaches I talk to, say to me they've put so much time, so much investment, so much energy into learning how to coach, getting the certification, getting multiple certifications. And yet, client creation continues to be a challenge. What gives? It's the identity level. All of this is an indicator to me that you're not yet at the identity of being a coaching business owner. You have got so far in becoming a coach. And don't even get me started about the coaches who have a problem with calling themselves a coach. That's a completely different discussion. And we'll maybe go into that in another episode. But for the life coaches who have worked hard to get to this place, it's why I often say in my marketing, you've worked so hard to get as far as you are. And yet you're hitting roadblock after roadblock. It feels like self-sabotage after self-sabotage. It feels like whatever you do, however much you put yourself out there, it's just not happening. You've invested. You've put yourself in the programs. If you are leaning in, it is that shift into being a coaching business owner. It is taking on that responsibility of recognizing that to be a coach who doesn't work for anyone else, who works for themselves, who goes directly to market, who speaks directly to the customer, the prospective client, and sells to them the transformation. It is taking on that responsibility of business ownership, which means taking on the responsibility of being visible, of learning how to write and speak a powerful message that reaches to the heart and soul of the person that you most want to help, not shying away from it, not saying it's too hard, not allowing your own obtrusive thoughts to continue to get in the way and not doing anything about it. It is taking on the responsibility of making decisions, being a powerful decision maker. This is what it is to be a business owner, to develop what I call CEO embodiment, meaning you learn how to make decisions. You learn how to back yourself in the decisions that you make. And that once you have made those decisions, you do what you say you will. Which means if you say that you're going to show up, you show up. If you say you're going to sell, you sell. It is the responsibility of being a business owner and taking your services seriously, taking this gift, this skill that you have developed seriously, and recognizing that you have a duty, a responsibility to the people that you could be helping, and choosing to refine the skills. And for some of you, it's more than refinement, it's learning and developing the skills to be able to market and sell effectively so that you can help the people that you're here to help. Too many of you are avoiding this one skill, this one shift. Too many of you are avoiding this one shift, and yet it could change everything. I remember at the beginning of my business, there was a very distinct moment where I recognized if I was going to take this life coaching thing all the way, if I was really going to make this work, make this happen, it meant that I would be learning how to be a business owner. I embraced that. And I recognize that I am coming at this with a little bit of positive bias here because I studied business at university. I've been in business all my life. I've been in revenue generating roles all of my life. So I've always had an appreciation for business, which is why I'm such an effective business coach. I've always been in roles that have been responsible for making revenue, generating sales, being client facing, being visible, being the face of a business. And I recognize that that doesn't come naturally if you've never done it before, especially when I am working with clients who don't come from business orientated or revenue generating roles. And even then, my clients who work with me, who especially come from a very heavily corporate background, who have KPIs, who have revenue targets, who have sales targets, who are client facing, who are customer facing, even then, to translate those skill sets into business ownership is still a little bit of an identity shift. In fact, it's a lot of an identity shift, which is why I so often speak about this shift from going from employee to CEO. This is one of the main things that underpins all of my work that I do with my clients. Because every moment that you spend thinking like an employee, being frustrated that you have to market and sell, being angry that this is part of it, resisting the visibility, resisting selling, allowing the procrastination, the buffering. What is buffering? It's when we do things to distract ourselves, to avoid the very thing that could be moving the needle in our business. What I find interesting about many of the clients who begin working with me is that they're not new to business courses. They've taken the business courses, they've put themselves in the room, and yet the actions either aren't happening or they're not converting. They're not creating the results they want. Why? Because this identity shift hasn't happened yet. This is why this underpins the work that I do with my clients. I am taking you from coach to coaching business owner. I'm taking you from employee identity to business owner identity. I'm taking you from someone who has been used to receiving a salary, regardless of how much or how little or how effective or how potent your work is that day, to being someone who is responsible, meaning able to respond to the needs of their business, to the service of their clients, to the people that they could be helping. When you nail this shift, and you know when you nail it, and I'll give you some examples of how you know, but when you nail this transition, that is when you become a force to be reckoned with. You become somebody who knows how to sign clients. You know what's very exciting about when you know how to sign clients? You know that you can make money in your business. And when you know you can make money in your business, you make money in your business. And when you start making money in your business, not just randomly, not by fluke, but intentionally because you decided to, because you know it's in your control, because you know it is your responsibility, because it is in your ability to respond, because you have developed the identity of a business owner, that is when you can start bringing your services to more people, having a greater impact, being more in your purpose, really letting go of that old identity of whatever your job title was or is, and stepping into this new version of you. And then it is a matter of just becoming the version of you that you want to become, reaching every new level, meeting every new devil, because there is every new devil at every new level. And often it's the same challenges that you faced before, but at deeper levels with greater expansion. It's exciting to do this work. It's exciting to make this shift. I absolutely love seeing the shift in my clients when they start to think like a business owner, when it stops being, oh, I just didn't show up and I just can't seem to do it. And it starts going, okay, I know I didn't quite show up today, and this is exactly why. When they shift from, oh my God, that client came out of nowhere, to, okay, it kind of felt like that client came out of nowhere and I had all the excitement of the surprise of the client coming. But the truth is, I know exactly how I did it because of XYZ. That is the difference. When it goes from, I hope I can sign this client after the consult, I hope she just shows up and she wants it and it's easy, into, I can't wait to meet her or him. I know exactly what process I'm taking them through. I know exactly how to review my performance. I will know exactly how to identify the moment where she was leaning in or where she was leaning away. And I know exactly what to do next time. And more often than not, that signs your clients. That is the shift, where you shift from going, I don't know what to say today. It's not working. Why isn't it happening? Why am I not there yet? What do I even say? Like, I've said it all before. I'm scared to repeat myself. What if people judge me for selling? What if I sell too much? What if people think this about me? Into, I kind of don't give a fuck because I'm too in my passion. I'm too in my purpose. There are too many people to help that went through what I went through, and I have to show up for them. And anyone else, they are not my business, because my business is my clients, my purpose, my service to the people that I'm here to help. If you are ready to make that shift, you know that this is a weakness for you at the moment. And I say weakness, it's not a bad thing, it's self awareness. But if you know that you are ready to stop questioning yourself, stop questioning your business, stop with the doubt and the insecurity and the lack of confidence, and to actually take everything that you know and really turn it into something that you are proud of, to start seeing the results come off it, to start showing up in a way that you know the results are coming, and that when they come, you can be both delighted, surprised, but also not really that surprised because you freaking showed up for it. That is the work we do when we work together one to one. It is high touch support. I am starting you off with a really potent strategy session. And in that strategy session, we set the foundations of your business. We work with everything you've already figured out and everything you're still trying to figure out. And we refine it and we give you clarity. With that clarity, you then set a very simple, very achievable, very doable marketing and sales strategy that you can do even if you have very little time and energy. And then we begin the work. 6 months, one-to-one, weekly sessions, and Telegram support. Some of my clients message me daily, because they're sharing what they're up to. They're sharing the challenges they're facing. They're sharing the ideas they have. They're sharing the ways that they can see their own thoughts getting in their own way. They're actively working through it in real time with me. They're not waiting for a session. They're dealing with it head on, moment to moment. They're taking massive action in their business. And it feels Yeah, a little bit audacious, a little bit scary, a little bit new. And they are taking it with courage and with bravery. And then they are reflecting. They're learning about what's working for them. They're learning what their style is. They're coming more into their own. And when they do, they see results. First, and this is what's going to happen for you too, you're going to see the shift in how you feel inside. That in and of itself is worth the investment, let alone the clarity you get from the strategy session alone and the confidence you feel going into your business for the next 6 months, knowing that you are supported. But once those identity shifts start happening, that is when you start seeing the external shift as well. Your confidence improves, your sense of belief improves, your self assuredness improves. In 6 months, you have massive shifts. The things that you knew before that just were knowledge, concepts, things that you know you should be doing, but maybe weren't executing on, they now start making sense. Not just because you're feeling like a business owner, but because you actually have the business acumen of a business owner. Because when you work with me, I don't just give you the strategy and the clarity, but you also understand the fundamentals of business. I give you my knowledge on business through osmosis, through the ways that I challenge you, through the ways that I get you thinking differently, thinking like a business owner, making decisions as a business owner. When you start doing this, shifts begin. One of my recent clients, in fact, we had an episode. Oh my gosh, go listen to the episode 73, I think it was, with Angeline Gavino, client feature. Through the work that we did together, she was saying to me when she joined The Container, she dreams of leaving her 9 to 5, but right now it just feels so far from reality. And in her final sessions of working together, we focused on her exit strategy for the 9 to 5. She set up her business plan for the next 12 months. She had her exit strategy for when and how she was going to leave the 9 to 5 because she had stepped into her coaching business ownership identity and she was now thinking and operating like a business owner. And when you listen to that episode, you'll notice that she already had the systems in place. She had already taken the business courses. She had already done the right things. In fact, she was doing the right things, but why were they not creating clients and money? It was this identity shift. You're ready for this. You're leaning in. The next step to begin is to drop me a DM at Coaching with Pamela over at Instagram and just let me know that you're interested in working together. We'll have a conversation in the DMs and we'll explore where you are now, what you think it is, what's happening for you, where you want to get to. And then we can decide and help you decide if one-to-one is the right step. And then when you join, we begin with the strategy session. And then we have 6 months together, weekly sessions, Telegram support, access to Thrive. I will review your collateral, whether it's landing pages, websites, but don't worry if you don't have one yet, whether it's your offer, the way it's written, your content, your videos, your podcast, your email, whatever it is. I look at your sequences, I look at your freebies. So you'll have my feedback on your messaging. The coaching is both practical, tactical, strategic, but really, it's identity, it's mindset, it's embodiment. It's getting you to be more powerful, more potent, more congruent, not just how you show up in business, because you'll learn very quickly with me. If there is something that's showing up in business, it's probably showing up in life as well. It's showing up in the way that you show up with your family, in your relationships, in your friendships, at work, if you're still in work. The things that your clients come to you with are going to be mirroring what's happening in your life, where you need to level up in business. There's a reason for that, and we look at that. So, if you're ready, if you're leaning in, if you're even just curious, what are you waiting for? This is your time. Drop me that DM over at Coaching with Pamela, and let's begin the conversation. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the next episode.